11, old business, none. 12, any items for subcommittee referral? Seeing none? No? Yes?
I guess not this one.
Okay. 13, subcommittee reports.
Finance. Mrs. Baloney is not here at the moment, so I acted as chair earlier tonight for the Finance Subcommittee, in which we were presented with the superintendent's recommendations for added positions due to the fiscal 2011 Federal Jobs Fund grant that was presented to the city. So at first, before discussion here, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendations of the superintendent as presented for these Federal Job Fund grants.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Yes. Westfield received $1.5 million from the Federal Jobs Fund grant, and it was the superintendent's recommendation as presented to us that we fund several positions, recall several teachers, and create several new positions. And with an eye, with Mr. Kane presenting us with numerous salaries and numbers here, what we're looking to do is fund these positions for 2 years, okay, using this $1.5 million, also keeping as much money available really as possible as a rainy day fund. As we know, next year is not looking real promising. We may need funds to offset some budget crunch as we get later and later into the year. The idea for the 2-year period was so that we would not incur any surprises, any layoffs, any unemployment, additional costs going into next year. Now, this does not mean that the people hired in the positions that are funded are not required to be brought back for the second year, but the idea is these funds would be available. The positions are as follows for the high school: the recall of a business teacher, which will allow us, as Mr. Broderick talked, of reducing class sizes, which are up at the in that department, in the business department up the high school now are very much overcrowded. So it'll allow the kids, once we approve, or if we approve, to reorganize the classes that are presently up there and reduce the class sizes in that department. It also may allow us to do such things as reopen the school store and maybe allow the reinstitution of a couple of the business classes, I believe the stock market type classes and entrepreneurial type classes, which have been very successful in the past. Also, the recall of a Spanish teacher, which will not only alleviate the overcrowding in the Spanish classes, but the hope is that it will also allow us to do the honors French class. It's the advanced placement French class, which is obviously one of the big problems we had. We had to cut that position due to budget restraints. We would love to get that back up online, and I believe Mr. Broderick feels there's still time in the calendar year to be able to get that class back up and running and offer that, which most colleges are looking for these days, to have that type of background. Also up there would be a recall of a science teacher. At the vocational technical school, we would be hiring a new position for a graphic arts teacher, a math teacher, and a para. At Fort Meadow School, we would be recalling a special ed classroom para. The English...
Seven.
Not to 7, I'm sorry, 7. 7 paras down at Fort Meadow. They were all cut with the budget. They would all be replaced or reinstituted. At English as a second language, there would be an ESL teacher, which would be a recall. There would also be an ESL teacher, which would be a half position, which would be a fully, it would be half to a full-time, which would be a new position. Making it a full-time would be a new position. A translator and tutor in the ELL program, a Russian-Ukrainian parent facilitator teacher, which would be a new position in the ELL program. At the high school and the middle school, there would be the funding, the full funding of the substance abuse counselors. These positions are presently filled, but the grant monies were cut. 80% of the grant monies, as we were told, were cut. So this would, $11,000 each year would replenish and be able to fully fund these positions. And then finally in the ELL program, an Arabic interpreter for 20 hours a week, which would also be a new position. So the biggest concern I had was figuring out, obviously, making sure we had the money to fill these positions moving forward, and also given the outlook of the budget for fiscal 2012, making sure we had as much money as possible to try to backfill and eliminate some surprises, or at least have money if some surprises do pop up, as we talked about. If we get an out-of-district student, and a special needs student, obviously that could be a big dollar figure, and we have to have funds available to do that. I am very comfortable with the superintendent's recommendations. We did kind of grill her on what positions and what issues she decided not to fund, and I am comfortable. The vote of the subcommittee was 2-0 going forward, so I would be voting in favor of this.
Mr. Duval.
Yeah, just to add a footnote too, that many of these replacements and new people, because we were not in compliance.
Yes.
You're out of compliance, which raises a lot of issues. These put us in compliance with
Yes.
state regulation, which is very important.
If I may have a question on the chart that I was shown, I think 2 weeks ago or something, the available anticipated money is less today than it was 2 weeks ago. Can somebody, John, maybe explain
Yes,
to me?
there was 3 new positions that were added to that.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, the 2 substance abuse counselors,
Yeah,
because we found out the grant was cut 80%, so we're replacing 0.18 of a FTE on both of those.
Yeah.
And then retirement.
and the retirement
Oh, and the
attitude?
retirement, we have to
Sure.
pay the retirement for 9%.
Okay,
Which you can see on the bottom.
yeah, yeah.
You're absolutely correct on that. We can amend it, you see the amended
Yeah.
revised on it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
what happened in Title V grant
Yeah.
was cut back at 80%, and that Title V grant paid for the substance abuse counselor, one at South Middle School and one at Westfield High School. So they cut it, so they cut 11,000 out of which,
Out of each
so they
account?
got short, so we
Yeah.
had to put that in there because they are working. And this just came when I emailed all of you, it came just like that. That's what I'm saying, save and pre-plan with whatever you have in there, because it happens. They all of a sudden, they send that and they cut.
The para position at the Voc Tech?
Para position is for the, I have for
Yeah.
you,
Yes,
Hillary?
ma'am. Sure.
The peer position at the vocational school is to work with our students in the technical programs across the board.
High risk.
These high-risk students that are going into the vocational program.
I know that there was a need for a graphic arts teacher, but I hear from the machine trades, business and industry, that they're in need of a teacher there as well.
Correct, and that I put into my original budget back in the early spring of last year. But right now I'm operating a graphic arts department with 1 teacher.
Right, which I remember I
we have
discussed
safety
with him,
issues
right, no
and,
question, I understand.
Digital,
Yeah.
new digital
No,
technology,
yeah.
communications. Manufacturing will always be a priority, but at this point graphics became a greater priority this year.
And specifically, this para will be located where, in
Going all over.
all over?
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
A question.
Thank you.
What
Yes.
is your percentage on special needs?
Percentage
Your
special-
percentage of students on with special needs this year? I know it was quite high
Well,
last year,
Close to 44-45%.
so
Is
therefore
that's
the para.
school-wide?
yeah.
School-wide? How about
In
this
my
class?
school.
Do you know the class? Because last year was like 74% or something. Do you know what it is in the
It
class?
depends on which technical program you would
All
be
right.
going into. Anything, because some of them, you know, it's just different.
And just the change digit, it's in the poly tutor, imagine.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, that doesn't actually come as a surprise. I was given a briefing back in February about 50 or 55 new Nepali immigrants that had come to Westfield in the last preceding 5 or 6 months. And so that's like a wave that's coming in and settling into the city. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I have a question too, Ms. Weisgerber. I had the opportunity to attend the orientation for first-year students, and I was
Yes, thank
absolutely
you.
amazed at 13 and 14-year-old students have to make decisions about what shop they want to be in. They get a chance to try different shops and so on, and that really highlighted to me as a former guidance counselor the importance of the guidance and the availability of guidance counselors for those people. And you had said to me there's going to be a secretary to help them?
Yes, I'm working on that. We're putting in a secretarial assistant in guidance and in the.
Okay, and what about, is there a retirement guidance there too?
Not this year,
Oh, no, okay.
No.
Okay.
no.
So they really, the more
That will happen
time
next
they have
year.
available, the councils have available to see the kids.
Right.